Like this whole area right here?
Yeah, that, and keep coming around, keep coming around, keep coming around, yeah.
All
That
this
whole
way.
area. So that would be like a glacial cirque on land, but it's a landslide, so all that material's been
Oh.
eroded down and mass wasted away down the slope.
Oh, now we're getting some corals.
Okay,
Hey.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, let's look at this long one here.
We'll zoom in, please.
Yeah, then you can talk about the various dots and colored lines here if you want,
Yeah.
Emma.
For sure. Zoom in a little bit. There we go. All right, so this is a one-for-one representation of our ship, the green.
This one looks like a bamboo.
And
Okay.
it's, oh, there's a little shrimp on the screen. And it's facing in the direction that our ship is headed as well. But our ship is actually going to be moving backwards towards waypoint 2, but it keeps its heading into the wind and the current and swell and stuff. And all the black squiggly lines are where the ship has been, and it helps track us where it's going. And then the blue
Come wide,
lines
please.
are Atalanta's lines, and Atalanta is directly attached to the ship, and it's dragged by the ship. So you can see it's kind of trailing the stern. And these two dots right here in the middle of all the red is Hercules, and you can see Hercules has been traveling all around and looking at very cool things. And Hercules has two dots because we have two different ways of telling where we are in reference to the ship, and sometimes one way is better than the other, so that's why we have two. So yeah.
And can you tell which way Herc is pointing?
Yeah, you can tell which way Herc is pointing by this long, right here, this long line off of one of Herc's circles, and that's the direction it's oriented.
Great, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the sponge as well. I think it's probably another poliopogon.
Yeah, there's a coral down
Zoom
below
in, please.
too. One of the whip corals, maybe.
Yeah, looks like it.
Liz, what did you call this one again?
Poliopogon.
Poliopogon. Thank
Looks like
you.
it's got some brittle stars, but it's base.
Oh yeah. They're not falling away this time.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, come wide, please.
Yeah, what's really nice, you can actually see some of the structural geology I was hoping to see. You can see how these looks like layers of rock, and they're kind of oriented down slope. So as the eruption was occurring, all these lava flows are going down the slope, and so you kind of see the orientation of it now.
Oh, wow.
And so this is probably the edge of the that mass wasting or landslide event. So,
Oh, okay.
oh, there's good stuff down below too.
Wow, a lot
Looks
lot
like some
coming up.
corals.
Yeah.
Right, look at that. It's like on the, that's a
Oh,
lot.
that looks like a face.
That looks really nice.
There's a coral garden, Rob.
It's more like a raised bed.
It's a vertical garden.
There you go.
From the
Wow.
hanging gardens.
Cool.
Yay. I think this could be Niskinable too,
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
or Niskinable,
Um,
if possible.
okay, I'm gonna
Don't
go have
worry.
a quick look here if
Yep.
I can, and then I might have to come up potentially.
Okay.
Okay.
No, this is
Sounds
wonderful
good.
stuff.
Look at this here.
It's all in that one face.
Wow.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Okay, there's more the farried types
Yeah,
down there.
like that
Yeah,
one
that
you're thinking?
Exactly,
yeah.
yeah. A couple of polipogons. I think that
And then a bunch of what?
primnoidal,
That's what I was
maybe?
thinking, primnoids, but
Yeah,
and like a chrysogorgia down there.
Like a
Yeah.
partial zoom, Dave? Is there any particular one you want to?
yeah, just one of the primnoids.
Just one of, yeah, one of the corals.
Okay.
So we can ID.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll zoom in a bit more.
Yeah, primnoid's my best guess.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Should we try to pull one, or do we have time?
I mean, it doesn't look like high diversity.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's a good call.
Like, yeah. It's probably a better
Yeah.
spot.
Yep.
Oh, come a little wider, please.
That's a nice
Come
little
wide.
surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Josh Michael.
Yeah.
How great would it be if that was really his middle name? Josh
Josh
Michael.
Michael?
Yeah. And then his confirmation name was Emma.
That makes sense.
So Emma, we just got a shout out to you that the map explanation was great. Thank you.
Let me
Awesome
know if you have
job.
more questions.
Another primnoid there.
Yeah, another chrysogorgia maybe.
Nice. Look how thick these lava flows were.
Were they always this vertical, or
Zoom
do you
in,
think
please.
it shifted?
No, I think this is the original orientation of them. It's just that it's been exposed with the mass wasting event. Oh, that's good, Chrysogogia.
Yeah, something in the middle. Seems like they usually have someone hanging out.
Yeah.
And then more primnoid.
Yep.
Oh, come wide, please.
Oh,
That almost looked, no. Oh, here's a little more diversity.
Yeah, it's a little different one.
That looks like maybe a precious coral, and
Yeah.
this could be a better place to pull a Niskin.
oh, cool.
Can we get a zoom on this colony?
Yeah, there's some other longer ones there too. Yeah, this could be, if you ever get a chance here, Josh, to get settled in and pull a Niskin for us.
Okay. We'll zoom in, please.
Yeah, there looks like a bunch of different ones here.
Yeah, that, yeah, I think that's a hemicorallium.
Yeah. I still don't have my coral identification badge.
See if Steve thinks we've improved. who gets to be most improved on coral ID? Thank
Oh,
you.
come wide.
I think the odds are you.
I had a long way to go.
Oh, there's another one up top there too. These are nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I will here.
Essentially, they're not right at the top of the ridge, but they're close to it.
Yeah.
You don't really see much down below.
Cool Atalanta view.
I know, I was just thinking that.
One's being a little rascal.
The loop is so tiny on that one.
I think that one popped.
Thank you.
It did.
Number 1.
Yay.
Any sense about current here, Josh? Do you feel anything?
I'm sort of just getting the lay of the land here a little bit. So
Okay.
I'm not that much current, I would say. My initial kind of feel for it all.
It's good to know. Thank you.
I like Michael's rainbow QCed.
Right above you.
Okay, I'm going to keep moving.
Just about.
Yeah. Looks like you're pretty good distance from the wall, 20 meters.
Yeah. It's been consistent.
Aloha, my new viewer. I've got a question for our scientists here. So our viewer loves the stream, but what does it mean to pull a Niskin?
That's a good question. That means that you're closing a bottle, which we use to collect water. That will be used for environmental DNA. Is that a sea star on there?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's a chunky one.
It's a long drop if he wants
yeah,
to jump.
Uh-oh. Don't do
Carl.
it.
Don't do it, Carl.
Oh, is it gonna fall?
There's so much more.
Ah.
Can we zoom in, please?
Stay there, Carl.
Just hanging off of the
Yeah,
coral?
is that
Oh.
Yeah,
Chrysogorgia?
that poor
Yeah.
chrysogorgia. It's got something else in there too, maybe a squat lobster.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ah.
I don't think Carl's
You
a good
call
job.
that a chrysogorgia?
How did it get out there? That's what I want to know.
Very
Yeah, because it
carefully.
looks so delicate. How did it?
Looks so heavy in comparison.
yeah, right?
I made
It's
it,
like
guys.
chilling.
I made it.
I think
I made it.
it
You
was an
guys
old
said I
stalk
wouldn't.
covered in hydroids.
Okay.
You said I'd never make
Fight
it,
all
but
odds.
Come wide,
guys.
please.
guys, where'd you go? Where's
You
everybody?
wanna
I'm so glad
Please
it didn't
explain
drop
why-
itself off.
why
It
they
stayed
put
right there.
Metallogorgia over
Yeah, I
there.
saw that.
Ouch.
Yep. Emma, you had a question?
Oh, I just thought that the person might want to know why we collect water.
Oh, yeah, thank you for reminding me. I
Yeah.
got distracted.
Squirrel.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so you saw Josh pulling that loop that closes the bottle. And so when we bring it up, we're going to have a water sample from this specific area. And some of our other scientists are going to be looking at the little bits of DNA that are just in that water. What's that thing? In order to kind of get a sense of what are the species in the area. So yeah, we call it eDNA work.
Yeah, and if you have a look at channel 3 here on our live feed, you can get a sense of, we're
Zoom in,
showing
please.
you our Niskin bottles right there. And so we've got about 6 on the side of Hercules.
Yep.
And every time we pull one of those loops, the cap closes.
Oh, it's
Crinoid.
just a crinoid and a stalk. It looked strange.
That's weird.
Another palm tree.
Oh, come wide, please.
It's sort of a cave.
Yeah, that's a pretty
Yeah,
cool
little
ledge.
overhang.
Oh. I always want to know if something's hiding inside.
Okay, I'll get moving along.
Wow, that's cool.
This
Oh,
looks
this
much
is
more
interesting.
smooth and less
Yeah.
angular here.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's an interesting looking
Oh, I got a fish.
formation. Hey,
Can you get a zoom?
where do you, oh, right there. Okay.
Zoom in, please.
At
Cusky?
No, not a cusk. I want to say, oh my gosh, what are they called? Having a brain fart moment.
Cutthroat.
That's
Have
a
we
cool
seen
shot.
it before?
Cutthroat.
Oh.
Oh, that's right. Yep, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
Okay, well, come wide, please.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's a nice size one too.
Yeah.
Close to a little over a meter maybe.
Oh. Too slow.
We have our scientist ashore, Emil, here, helping us out along with things. And he called it cutthroat before
Yeah.
we did.
Okay, I was gonna get there.
Come up a little bit.
Yeah.
Can we zoom that if you still have time? Or
Sure.
Oh yeah, and any of these features up here.
Okay.
You want a photo?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, could we?
Okay, Aaron's got it.
They almost look like slickened sides, which would be
Zoom
evidence
in,
of a
please.
fault.
What did you say?
Slip and
Bring
slide?
up the
A
sextant
slickened
camera
side.
view.
Slipping side.
Yeah.
Can
Slick
you bring up that sextant
Slick.
camera view?
and slide.
Is that under
Very characteristic of a fault.
science?
I don't know, you had it up on that screen there.
It was already up
Last,
every time we got here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they look
That's
pretty.
science.
That's what it could be.
I don't know which other one would have it.
It's cam still.
Oh, here we go.
All
There
right.
we go.
Yeah.
Oh, where'd it go?
Hey, come wide, please.
Yeah, there's like little vertical striations in it.
I'll try to get
Love to see
the
these.
try and get it framed up closer in the
Yeah.
sextant still cam.
And what does that mean?
It's an indication of a fault. You often see these where the rocks are sliding past each other,
Okay.
and so it kind of gives you an indication. So it looks like the whatever fault happened, it went pretty much straight down. And oftentimes it kind of recrystallizes the rocks and things there. I mean, if it was on land in a granite, it'd probably be
Cool.
quartz, but there's no quartz here, or very, very little silica on these rocks.
I think we got some good photographs of
Yeah.
that.
That's great. That's good.
Okay.
Little friends.
Zoom
There's
in,
something
please.
Is
there.
that an
Anemone.
anemone?
That's what I'm
Anemone?
thinking.
Yay!
Looks maybe like another one of those ceranthid. Yeah. I think I see the tentacles in the middle. Ceranthus.
How did that other sample turn out?
Oh boy.
Like
In
slurp?
pieces.
Yeah.
It was in pieces?
Well, there was like the base and then there were tentacles.
Yeah, that's pretty much an enemy.
But they weren't attached.
Oh,
So
I wonder what happened.
Go away, please. It got slurped and ran through
it's almost
a
like it got vacuumed up.
hose.
Just like,
That's nice.
They can't all be winners.
I think it was a winner for the slurp. I mean, that was an accomplishment. It's a big anemone.
So
That was a bit of a challenge, that one, to get all
Yeah.
balanced with the other
Yeah.
arm. And
So I see a lot of like tracks in some of the rocks here, Liz. Is that any idea what that might be?
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Some of them looked like they could have been left over from like tube worms that have been
Okay,
attached
yeah.
there, was a thought. I'm not sure what else would be kind of making tracks on this vertical slope here. I guess potentially if there's any sort of snails,
Yeah.
gastropods.
So where
Is
did
that
our
another
corals
anemone
go?
right there? No, that's just a shadow.
What did you say?
Where'd our corals go?
Yeah.
This is quite the wall.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
pretty
even
epic
see
rock. I
old
don't know.
holdfasts.
We need corals for this
Right?
awesome
Yeah,
rock.
you're right.
It's like no time to warm up. It's just, it's on. Here we go.
We landed on it.
Up and running.
So Josh, you prefer to keep a steep slope to your left or to your right when you're doing these sorts of things?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's a little, actually, just for what's on the vehicle, it's a little nicer going this way because the Niskin bottles are on the
Okay.
other side, and if you get a little close, you can,
Oh.
they are out there, so you could kind of
Okay.
damage them if you run into the wall. But
That makes sense.
I feel like you probably don't run into walls often.
try
So
not
Rob,
to.
we've got
In
a
the
couple
water.
questions
Up
coming
in
in
the
for
water.
you, so let me know when you're ready.
I ran into a wall in real life today. So.
The wall jumped out and hit you.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't my fault at all. It was the wall's fault.
So is that same corner? Sneaks up on you.
I know.
It's interesting, we're now seeing sediment, but
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like a heck of a lot of current. Seems pretty light.
yeah.
Maybe that's why we're not seeing as many corals.
Yeah.
I can do that one.
Yeah, so it's in
I can do
it's within 20, but I think I'm still gonna be good.
Yeah, we can come up if you wanna.
So aloha mai, mahalo for submitting your questions. We've
You
got
want
one
to?
here for Rob. How
I
high
think
is
it's good.
this
I'll
rock
give it one more.
face?
Okay.
Well, I mean, looking at the contour
It also
map where
curves
we
this
are,
way, so
I'd
if I
probably
need
say
a
it's could be
curve
close to
earlier,
200
later,
meters
let me know.
high.
I think we might
So a
need
couple,
to.
couple of soccer pitches
Just
with
like going
football
by the
fields high.
sonar and
Oh,
the direction
wow.
we're going.
Thank you for putting that
Yeah.
into context.
Either that
Oh,
or
what is
Yeah, it
going
kind of
on
looks
right
like it
here?
does start to curve, maybe, but I mean, it could be just the
That-
localized spot, though, right?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's different than what we've seen, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that light color is striking.
Yeah. And just be potentially differential weathering, slightly different type of rocks that weather a little more easily.
Uh, 245, right? That's where we're going.
You can ask it. Ask it.
It's a weird little hole.
Okay, we have a question coming in, and I believe this could either be geared to our scientists or pilots, perhaps. Did your team help to assist in discovering the DDT waste barrels off the coast of LA last year?
No, we didn't do that survey.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Atalanta camera right now.
Yeah.
You can just see how steep that cliff is. Straight up.
Yeah, these rocks do look a lot different here.
Oh, that's your shot.
Wow.
It's a pretty good swell.
Yeah.
We just broke like 11,000 a little bit ago on tension.
11,000. Wow, it's a pretty good spike.
So just to give our viewers a sense of where we're at, our current depth is 2,333 meters. Our temp is sitting at 1.8 degrees Celsius. And we have 34.6, our salinity
might
level
need
is
to come up.
30.6
Yep.
BSUs.
Really interesting colors. So what if that might be some sort of fault gouge
Yeah.
that you often get with a fault? That's why it's a little more discolored, a little more weathered.
Yeah, that red color is striking. Not much biology, though.
No, I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm not sure how far the top of the cliff is, though.
That- Probably cuts back down after this, I guess. At this little ridge right here.
Oh, here's a little bit.
Yeah, some corals here.
Yeah.
Might need to come up a little bit more.
Yeah. Zoom in, please. Do a zoom on this one. I'll start coming up again.
Yeah.
I think another chrysogorgia.
Yes.
It's like...
Pretty good outside shooting there.
Go come wide, please. Okay, I'm gonna start coming up.
copy.
Yeah, it's getting pretty close right there.
Yeah, I see that. I can make it. I can make it.
Wow.
That's
It's
me
like a
making
little
That's
cutout or something.
spectacular.
That's making me. That's me making it.
Someone take a screenshot of that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just keep on coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, really interesting, different colored rock there. The surface. Yeah, it's a
Wow. Okay. that's a cliff face.
Yep.
Close for
there's
comfort.
no way to get a sample of that either.
Wow, that's some really nice imagery from Atlantis there.
Yeah. Oh. You're welcome.
Thank you, Michael.
Wow, that's
That's
so
more-
I do what I
cool.
can.
More
I do what I
corals
can.
there.
Beautiful.
Just
Yeah, there's a
gonna-
lot
Oh,
of coral
suddenly,
here.
I
yeah.
think I'm in the clear.
Yeah, there's that.
They might be
Okay, I'm gonna
hydroids.
slide
You know,
down
there's
a
that
little bit, but
little
I'm gonna
sweet
keep coming up
spot.
a wee bit.
Huh.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
cleared
look at
up
this
for you a little
area.
bit.
Yeah, it's so
Really
interesting
cool.
to see where they all congregate and
Yeah.
try to speculate on why there.
Yeah, here's some more of them right there.
Yeah, suddenly there's a lot more corals.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we get a zoom on some of these?
Sure.
oh yeah, look at that.
They kind of look like those are ritogorgia, but maybe small.
The spirally ones? Or
Yeah.
Can zoom in,
I don't
please.
see the- Oh yeah, good job.
But, well,
they don't
they're
look-
so
they have a
much
different habit
smaller. I
too,
don't think they
they?
are. Yeah. I think they're just also spirally.
I think they're
let's
paragorgia,
see.
or not paragorgia,
Iridia.
primnoids.
Primnoids? Oh.
They look very
60
Similar.
degrees or so.
There's giant boulders on top of there.
Yeah.
Not a line of view. Holy cow.
Whoa.
Go come wide, please.
It's kind of scary.
This is a pretty intense.
You got real close.
not just that, I'm just like worried.
Look at that pile. That's a giant pile of boulders. Holy.
And there's like one
You want to pick that
brittle
rock
star
up?
just holding it all up or something. you
Bigger
know?
than Herc.
Yeah, that's your shot too, right there.
Yeah,
seriously.
wow.
That Atalanticam, man.
So pretty.
Look at the size of those compared to her.
Da, da, da,
Huge.
da,
Oh my gosh, that's a good reference.
Crazy scale reference there.
Yeah.
Oh, there's,
Whoa.
is that a
Metallogorgia?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Come on.
We don't have any coral experts in the chat. We can say anything.
Can you zoom in, please?
And a sponge above it. I think it's got a squat
Oh.
lobster, yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
what is
I
this
can't
one,
tell if
Liz?
it's a metallogorgia
It's
or
a metallogorgia with a squat lobster in the center.
A talagorgia?
Maybe.
Okay.
Sorry.
Maybe. Confidence.
I don't
With
want to say
someone.
it with confidence because there's a
No,
good
no.
chance I'm wrong.
I can't get over how big these things are.
Thank
Oh
you.
my gosh.
They look like
With what
computer
was that?
generated.
Squat
Yeah,
lobster.
they do.
Whoa,
You're
look
so
at
right.
that big
Yeah,
collar.
this looks like a made-up world that you would see in Viewing.
This is really wild.
Like it's just not rendered.
Whoa.
Whoa.
That's a clip.
Oh, I gotta back up a bit.
Yeah.
Me trying to get you more into view.
A little bit overhang there.
You're clear.
Wow.
That is just...
My altitude is now 20 feet. 20 meters, I'm sorry. Not feet. What am I doing? I'm a scientist. Feet. I think I'm about to tug on you.
Okay, I guess I gotta get in a better spot here. I'm gonna come up and over top of this
Just keeps going.
and try and get more over here.
So,
Just
no,
need
no,
I
no,
need you
no,
to come
no.
up a little bit.
I'm coming, I'm coming.
We got a big sponge to the left.
Yeah, I'll have a
Yeah.
quick peek at it here.
Where is that?
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh-wee.
wow.
right on the edge of the
Oh, it's
cliff.
right on the
It's a
edge,
Dyson
too.
sponge. No,
Nice view.
What kind of sponge?
Looks like a Dyson fan.
It's prime real estate
Oh,
right
oh,
there.
Okay, I'll zoom in, please.
beautiful.
Poliopogon.
Poliopogon?
Yep. Maybe. Probably.
Yeah, that looks like it.
It's like hanging over the edge.
Yeah. Okay, I'll come wide, and I just gotta get to a better spot. I just gotta try and get in a better spot here.
Okay.
I know that sponge isn't actually very cozy, but it looks like it would be a nice spot to like, cozy up.
They remind me of those like modernist chairs.
Yeah, yeah.
Like something you'd have in a dorm room.
Seems too comfy to be in a dorm room.
Oh, here's a
bougie
boulder.
dorm room. Oh, yeah.
That's a nice boulder.
That was a very
Yes.
nice boulder.
Best, best boulder ever.
Best boulder
Oh, and it's got a few little friends on it.
Oh.
Little sponges.
Awesome.
Yeah, there are some things on the rocks on the interior here.
Oh, yeah, there's a
Yeah,
sponge
let's get a
again.
zoom on that sponge.
But yeah, there's also maybe a primnoid there, too.
Oh, yeah. This looks like another
Primnoid.
farried.
Can we zoom in, please?
Yeah, that's a classic right there.
Parade,
You
you said?
sounding like an ex-sponge
Oh.
expert.
Well,
Is that a Bracingid or is it
yeah,
a brittle? Yeah.
looks like bazingas.
Is it the bazing?
Precision.
Bracingid. That sponge doesn't look too good.
Kylie,
Yeah,
your
come wide,
legacy
please.
lives on, even though you're
Yeah.
no longer on the
I know, I
watch.
miss her.
Bracingid?
Bracingid.
Yeah, there's some old sponge spines there, too.
Mm-hmm.
Vertebrae.
Oh, I spelled it right. Yay.
So it looks like we have about 4 more minutes till our watch
Mm-hmm.
change.
Yeah, and I think with that, we'll just provide one more question to our group. What is the main objective of this mission? Scientists, you want to
There's a
take a stab
few,
at it? Okay.
but the general objective is just to explore these areas that have been newly mapped, but have
Okay.
not been looked at with an ROV before.
Okay.
Looking particularly for areas of high biodiversity and high abundances of especially octocorals.
Okay.
But trying to understand biogeography, what is where, and potentially why that might be, as well as some geological objectives that Rob can tell you about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just mainly get a sample of these rocks, potentially get an age and a geochemistry to maybe infer their origin, timing, and melt source. But
Okay.
there have been other dives in this region, so it'll be interesting, but not on this particular spur or part of the.
Okay.
So it'll be nice to be able to do
Right.
some comparisons. And because when we look at the current flow models, the predicted flow is really different on different parts of this
Okay.
geo and different sides of it. So it'll be an interesting little test of the current models and see if there's a correlation with the current flow and the types and abundance of corals.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Thank you both of you for providing that information. And so, yeah, pretty soon here, your muted watch will be over and we will officially be muting. Thank you to all of your awesome questions and support across our airwaves here. Yeah, mahalo to all of our awesome pilots and navigators and scientists in the room, our videographer. It's been really nice learning all about these different landscapes or seascapes in our ocean, deep oceans. Just a few more minutes. If you want to ask one final question, pop it in the chat. We're happy to address it if we can.
See Kylie doing her walk through the winch.
Oh.
The winch room.
Check, check, check.
Gosh, I feel like these images from Atlantis are just so striking right now. It gives you a really good understanding of what it all looks like.
Sea cucumber.
That's a big boulder.
If I can only convince everyone to put like a white balance sticker on the decal on top of her.
Oh, mahalo nui for sharing your mana'o. It is awesome to be here.
Yeah.
You know, without the white balance and all the rings, it kind of looks cool still. You know, like, it's cool in its own way.
We're going to fix that in post.
Oh, there we go.
No, the other way, the other way.
Hey. Oh, mahalo everybody for sharing your mana'o and thanks to our crew. So just some closing thoughts. Thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate your generosity in sharing your knowledge. Mahalo nui, malamapono, ahui ho.
Check, check, radio check.
Loud and clear.
Oh, yes, it worked.
Sounds good.
Ooh, nice formation here.
Some interesting, maybe columnar feature that slid downhill. Hello, everybody. It's 12 to 4. Sea Pickle's taking over. We're diving on Wetmore Seamount, which is located about southwest of Johnson Atoll, within the same monument. We're on kind of a steep ridge structure in the north of the seamount.
I'd say so.
Here's a little canyon of corals and sponges. And before we get moving too much, might want to grab a rock from this area, since not right here maybe, but this general area.
Okay, we have a ship move currently in.
Okay.
But we can, it has 17 meters left on it. We can either let it swing out or we can hold position.
Yeah, whenever you find a comfortable spot, we can look around again.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm going to take it out of auto iris right now, so it might jump around a little bit.
Sure thing.
Your levels are so nice.
Some nice looking flow features.
Thank you, I'm learning.
Good.
Gesundheit. Nice mic discipline.
Yes, I felt it coming, and I muted.
Much appreciated.
Like I said, we're all learning, right? Like, we're improving. Sigh, deep sigh, right? Yeah.
Bridge nav, 50 meters, 195.
Chris,
That's a nice little geological feature there.
If you,
Yeah,
pause that move
tops
there,
of some
we're gonna look for
hills
rock
and
once
lobates.
this
Oh,
settles
roger.
out.
Bridge nav, hold position.
It's got this kind of north-south, well not north-south, but lineated Portugal crust. Fills in with sediment, looks kind of dramatic. like a zebra stripe.
Would you mind zooming in here a bit, please?
Yeah. Zooming in.
Oh, for Chris, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was like, I don't know what you're looking at, but I'll zoom.
We'll see when we're zoomed, right?
There's a nice little coral. Probably two of them. Looks like a paracalyptophora and a chrysogorgia.
Is that a sponge, the white? Or what?
And yes, a sponge.
Okay.
But I get too distracted by shiny coral.
Yeah.
And sponges just don't stand out as much despite their brilliant white coloration.
After seeing that ctenophore last night, now I think every white circle might be a ctenophore. Was it a ctenophore? Yeah.
It's all blending together now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was like, we saw a ctenophore.
Well, we saw the predatory other thing.
Tunicate. Tunicate's
Tunicate.
what I was looking for. Thank you.
It was very fun terrain. Very cool.
Yeah. There's a poliopogon.
That does not feel like it's a real word.
I know, right?
Yeah. And it's spelled like poliogon or something. Like it's, if I didn't hear Chris Carey say it a lot, I wouldn't confidently say poliopogon.
That sounds like a shape or a Pokemon.
It's a very advanced shape.
But not a sponge, right? Like I'm surprised.
Yeah. Can we do intros? Because some people are quiet, so we see if we can adjust levels.
Let's do it, yeah.
I like it.
Who wants to start?
You ready, Tim?
I'm ready.
Okay. Hello, I am Onye, your Science Communication Fellow on board the EV Nautilus. We are currently exploring the north side of Wetmore Seamount along this western boundary of a large slope failure feature. Yeah, so send in your questions and I'll be happy to pass them along to the team.
Hi there, Kevin Conrad, marine geologist from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Here to answer geology questions, point out geology features, and inaccurately point out biology features.
I'm Meredith Everett. I'm from NOAA's Northwest Fisheries Science Center in Seattle, where I'm a geneticist working on deep sea corals and sponges with NOAA's Deep Sea Coral Research and Technology Program, and enthusiasting about geology, even though I don't necessarily know much about geology.
Hey everyone, my name is Chanel Vidal and I'm a PhD student at Arizona State University where I'm currently studying microbial life in Antarctic dry permafrost. And I'm here as an ocean science intern, logging all the cool geology and biology things that we see on the seafloor. And I'm happy to answer any questions about choosing a school and what it's like to go from a geology focus to biology focus.
Hey, I'm Chris Krasnowski. I'm here as a navigator and high-res mapping specialist, and I guess on my land life, I'm a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Rhode Island.
Hey folks, sitting between Kylie and Herc.
Oh.
No. Obviously.
Chris was like, I didn't know you thought that about me. Thank you so much.
You been working out, Chris?
Well, let's try it again. Words just aren't my best right now. My name's Jess, fly in Herc, ROV team, and also fly at Atlanta when Kylie's flying Herc. So, yeah.
Raj.
Sitting between Kylie and Chris, that's what I meant. Very distinctive difference. You're not a robot.
Now he looks insulted.
Excuse
There's no winning. There's no winning. I'm so sorry. Kylie, please go and take this.
Blanket apology, Raj.
I'm glad Kylie's here to narrate my facial expressions, though. That's pretty fantastic.
I'm not sure the cameras can get it just
yeah, no,
quite
it's
right.
It's great, yeah.
I am Kylie Pasternak. I am sitting in the Atalanta chair. I am from Fall River, Massachusetts. I love these robots. I will answer any questions about anything I have answers to and pass it on to Tim.
My name's Tim Dwyer, and I'm sitting in to Kylie's left in the video engineering seat, where I'm taking care of all the video feeds and audio controls and making sure we're recording all of this great information for scientists to examine more closely later on. I'm from Friday Harbor, Washington, where my land life, I like that, my life on land, is that I work as a high school science teacher.
Doesn't it seem like life on land exists anymore? We've reached that stage in the cruise.
Yeah, we've lived a lifetime here.
It really is astounding to just look out over the horizon and see just water in every direction. I mean, that's a kind of a profound experience that I think most people don't get to explore. So,
especially in this area where you won't see a boat either.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like twofold, right? Because you're like, oh, we're alone out here. And then you're like, and we're not anywhere near anything else.
Yep.
I haven't even seen any airliners.
Yeah, I was thinking that the other day too.
Maybe over here, if we have time to. Oh.
Yeah, we're actually settling out pretty nicely. We're swinging a wee bit, but we can certainly grab a rock, jump up if we need to.
I thought I saw a plane the other day, or like a satellite or something, right? Turns out we were just changing our heading, so it was like we were just spinning, not them.
Yeah. Life's about coordinate frames.
It was, yeah.
All right, Kylie.
Oh, arm.
Every time I always take a little break at about 4 o'clock right when I get off watch to go sit outside and make sure that I see the sky at least once a day. And I'm always impressed out here, being from a place where both the land and the water are incredibly green all the time, just how many shades of blue the world comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always amazing when you get back and you see the land and you realize that green is a thing that can happen.
Yeah, yeah.
That must be nice.
Yeah.
Well, a million shades of red and brown are also nice.
Actually,
Red, brown, and concrete.
Kevin, do you mind if I hop up a little bit over this feature?
Sure. Yeah. Seem to be little pockets everywhere, so.
Yeah. Just so that we can come up on Argus at Atlanta a little bit. I don't know why I keep on mentally switching those two in my brain.
Because they both begin with A. They do the exact same job. They look practically the same. So I think you could be forgiven. I think I'm the one doing it, and I'm same. So I totally.
That's why in the Roman lab we just call all our depressor weights clumpus. We're fresh out though. Our last active clumpus is now on the bottom of the ocean.
Fresh out of clumps.
Fresh out of clumps.
Solid. Doesn't bode well.
Well,
you're not the lab that made yellow shirts
right,
with black lettering.
You know, that's us. Yeah.
The clumps.
Clumpus. Yeah.
Yeah. You dropped it off the Endeavor.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Anyone see anything they want here in this little pile of?
Yeah, maybe in this pile.
Okay.
Turn on the valve. Turn on the valve. Okay.
Oops, sorry. You're clear to move about the cabin.
All right. What do you think about that
Let's
guy?
try this guy.
Sorry, I don't like how close that jetting rock out is. Let me know if you want to jump up.
I think I can just. The one lower? This guy? Or the one?
Nope, the one
above
right
it?
above.
Oh, got it.
Give me that.
Nice.
Okay, I'll take a little video zoom. Okay. Yeah. Do we like it?
Yeah, let's take it. Thank you.
Okay, come wide.
I'll get us on top of something that we can open the box with.
Roger. So just stick this over here.
Yeah.
Roger. Halted.
Roger.
All the boxes are open. Starboard bio box has a rock and D, but all the other ones are open.
Thank you.
They're all open. What was the last watch even doing?
Blue water.
They didn't have
Slacking.
Kevin.
They had an hour on the bottom.
They only took one Niskin.
Oh, they got a Niskin.
If it was me, it would have popped all 6 Mexicans and start grabbing rocks.
In one go, yeah. Get this out of the way.
Yep. This is just a very expensive dredge expedition now.
Replication is important.
I'll just get this out of there.
Yeah. All right, it should be steadying out, hopefully. Switching over cameras.
Raj. Oh, we lost the zip tie on that. You see it? On the craft, little protector thing where the shoulder actuator is.
Oh yeah, broke.
It's not consequential, but we'll just fix it tomorrow.
We haven't perfected the art of zip tying with the Mongo arm.
No, it's not a lot of dexterity in those fingers there.
Useful for everything else, but
I'll take
subsea zip tying.
sample salvo.
Oh, Raj, yeah.
I mean, I could do it hard mode and just use the tiniest camera.
Solid. Raj.
Just to confirm, that went into C?
Yes.
Okay, great. And this is sample 139.
139, Raj.
I'm running out of ways to describe these. Like, how many times and how many different ways can I write it's a black angular small rock and a pile of other black angular small rocks? Just
Yeah, you can just put seamount sample.
okay.
Or watch the video, you figure it out.
Yeah. At some point, I'm just going to write C previous. Like, they're all the same.
See previous expedition.
All right, Chris, go ahead and bake a move in there.
All right. We ready to just start heading to waypoint 3?
I think so.
Yeah, yes.
I'd say so. Good sir.
Okay.
We'll, holler if we get distracted by more shiny rocks or more shiny corals.
All right. I'm always ready.
Get to know her.
Bridge nav, 50 meters, 233.
So what are our specific objectives?
We want to get rocks so we can determine the age and use the chemistry to figure out the geodynamic origin of these seamounts, why and how they formed and when they formed. Then, of course, the primary goal, as always, is to explore these previously unseen, unexplored territories, see what they're there, make questions that we can then later test. And that's a cool looking rock feature. I don't even know exactly what's going on there. And then our biology goals, we want to do a variety of things. We want to increase our taxonomic knowledge by doing genetic sequencing of various potentially new species. And then we want to collect sea cucumbers and urchins because one person on board, Liz, is working on microbiomes within their gut, trying to figure out how these creatures can live off such a nutrient-poor diet of essentially filtering sediment. And then Liz can talk about eDNA and goals. I'm sorry, Meredith.
So paired with the biological sampling of physical corals, we're also doing environmental DNA sampling to get a more complete picture of the deep sea coral and associated communities on these seamounts. And then that's part of a bigger study that's comparing these seamounts across biogeographic boundaries in different island groups across the central and southern Pacific. Your office, Peel.
What's special about this particular seamount?
It's an interesting seamount. It's a very large, elongated geo. We don't know its age. It could fit into one or two groups, either around 70 million or around 110 million, maybe, years old. It has on the northern side, ooh, can we get a zoom on that purple?
It says Cerantherius.
Yes. Of course.
Which we collected one yesterday.
Oh, cool. You got one.
Fish out of there, please.
Pretty. Does it get much more Aryan looking than that?
Is that, not, have you guys heard of the jumping anemone?
Forward, please.
Yes.
Forward.
Is it similar to this or is it the same as this?
I think it is this.
I thought so too.
Stomphia.
But when we sampled it yesterday, it didn't jump. Was that right? Right.
I don't think so.
I saw jumping Ceranthus once before on one of our expeditions, and it like swam through the water column like Medusa.
Cool. And as I was saying, this seamount where we're on the dive, we're on kind of like a very large, what I would refer to as a sector collapse, but basically the northern part of this seamount seems like it had a large mass wasting event where parts of it collapsed. So you have this long bowl-shaped slump, and we're on the western ridge that basically is on the edge of the slump. So earlier in the previous watch, they saw some very steep, dramatic cliffs with some slick and slide textures, and we might see some more of those later if we get back towards the edge of the cliff. It's hard to tell if we will see, but some cool geology and hopefully some good biology.
So mass wasting, sector collapse. I mean, these are all great band names.
Yeah.
But so we're basically talking about a gigantic rock slide.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. Which checks out because there's a lot of rocks that look like they've been sliding.
Yeah, there's a lot of very large debris here, which is cool. Usually when you go up these large debris, you eventually find large cliffs where they came from. We may actually, heads up front, we'll want to grab another rock while we're here, because this seems like a good spot.
Sure. You 2 rocks in one spot?
Yeah, I mean, this is recording probably a million years of different rock types.
Wow, okay.
And we're picking up slack from the last watch.
Yeah,
Didn't get a single rock.
Okay.
You know, let's grab 5.
Bridge nav, hold position.
It's a hot rock spot.
Yep. See them nice angles on them rocks? Look at that.
Roger. You can go for those. Tracting now. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, now pull right back.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, what are you interested in?
This one.
Yeah, I swear our instincts are the same. I'm gonna re-index.
Roger. You get a little
I'll
closer.
just do it again.
I can get you a little closer if you need it.
I can do it. I can't do it.
I'll get you a little closer here.
I want to do it.
You did it.
Oh.
Bad rock.
We didn't want that rock anyway.
Yeah.
I just put
Let's grab this rock
down here. Sorry. Stay there.
Actually, I would like a zoom on that rock too.
I'm stuck.
If we get a chance.
Sure. Okay, let me just put
It looks
this
like
back.
phosphorite.
Hold on. I'm just re-indexing. My fingers just do this. Okay.
Good?
Yeah.
Alright, landing again here. Alright, so you want to tell us straight again as to where you'd want the rock?
Yeah, let's try this rock. It looks a little chunkier.
Sure. I don't like how close we are to the camera.
Oh.
We're adding extra difficulties.
Yep. Sandstorm. I can't see it. I'll just wait, yeah.
Kevin, I'm gonna hop up. There's another feature coming up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We'll get it on the next little look around, but we're stopped now, so.
I'm gonna give you back port rail cam for now.
Okay, thank you.
It'll probably bamboo coal. Can't tell. Might be a primnoid.
I think that's one of the single stalk primnoids that we sampled yesterday.
Some nice low bait pillow flows here. Some big ones.
Okay, this is a bit happier of a zone for us. Anything in that rock pile down here, or that's not very
Nah, that looks
angular?
like crust. Yeah.
Roger.
Let's see. These all seem a little large. Maybe this guy.
Sorry. Can you tell us right again?
This one right in the center.
Sure.
Okay.
It seems like there's a lot of options on to the right as well. So if you don't like this one, we can go to the right.
Okay.
And we're pretty stationary now.
Okay.
I'm gonna come a little forward.
Nope, that's on there, so we can see what's to the right.
Okay.
Okay.
It looked deceptively small in the ROV cameras, but how big are the rocks that you're picking up? We're talking like...
Talking 10 to 15 centimeters typically. I'm trying to use the lasers. It's just a little bit larger than the lasers.
Okay.
About up here in this little pile.
Yeah, we can try that.
So that's like softball size? No.
Yeah, a little bigger than a softball.
Okay.
Or yeah, in between a softball and less than a volleyball, ideally.
No more giant boulders like the one that's currently downstairs in the wet lab?
No, I'm letting Rob grab all these giant boulders. He seems to enjoy it.
How about over here? Sorry, the arm might be on the rocks there. Okay.
Yeah, maybe one of these, well, this guy right here. It's a little small, but it's kind of angular.
Not the one with the worm on it?
Where? I don't even see a worm.
Right below the jaws right now.
That one? This one, the one I'm going to touch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it looks like it has a bonus coral, unless that's on the rock behind it.
Let's see.
Oops.
I know.
I'm just going to reindex.
Nice.
Give me the rock.
Chris, do you mind pressing stick lock here, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Teamwork, go.
Sorry. Not sticking lock. Okay.
What about the one with the worm on it?
Sure, let's try that. Let's look at it.
Roger.
That one looks angular.
Okay. I'll take a zoom. Oops. Spin.
Yeah, we'll go for that one. I don't think it's all crest, so excellent.
Oh, okay, come wide.
Get a bonus one. 2 for 1 special.
We'll check the bubble here. I don't think we'll have enough clearance to move.
I think I agree.
Yeah.
Or maybe my shoulder up. No. No, thank you. I'll just wait over here.
Roger.
It's almost like some column features there.
All right. I'm just going to hold it here.
Sure. Okay. Okay.
Sample self. Interesting.
I just want to size it up.
I think you got it. Yeah, I think she'll go.
Okay.
Think.
Come on.
There you go. Nice.
That's how you maximize your sample space. Nice work.
Yeah, great job. So I'll try to hold off for a little while and then before grabbing a couple more rocks by the end of the ship.
Just to confirm, that went into B, right?
Yes.
Cool. And that was sample 140.
Roger, 140.
All right, Chris, we can make it a move if you want. Unless you guys want any more sampling from over here.
I'm not seeing any corals in our immediate frame.
Yeah, I think we can start moseying.
Roger.
Bridge nav, 50 meters, 232.
Roger. What's the Hero, but yeah. We'll give it a go.
DC bend and sensor back on, craps off, port rail cams back on.
Roger. Thank you.
232? Is that the number?
Yeah.
232.
Raj. Quick question, Jess.
Yeah.
Should I turn, it doesn't really matter, I don't think, but should I turn the other direction so that our wraps oppose each other? It's kind of better, right?
Ideally they oppose each other, but yeah, any way that minimizes your wrap.
Those.
Yeah.
What are those little yellow things?
Yeah, can we have a zoom on this?
Yeah, sure. Good, start your push in there, please. Oh, they're anemones, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, little anemones.
Little family.
Oh, really cute.
Little anemone family, even though they're probably not related.
Oh, they're probably, well, they might be genetically identical.
Oh.
So they might be very related.
They all the same, yeah. Full eye, please.
Full eye.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll do that now.
Yeah.
Okay. You just have you don't really have an overhang, but I just wanted to wait till you pulled away from the rock to spin in case there was overhang.
Much appreciated.
Okay, I'm gonna get 232. That's kind of random.
I was feeling precise today.
232.
You know,
yeah, you want to go the other way, Kylie?
Huh?
You put in a wrap there. You go ahead and go the other way.
But oh, Raj. Sorry. Just keeping you on your toes.
But I'm sitting down.
So do you have an instrument on your panel there that monitors wraps in the cable?
Yeah, we do. And I think it's doing some fancy math from, well, we zero out our wraps before we go down on the water column, so right at launch. So it does just basically, if we've wrapped the compass once, then it'll keep track of that for us. Oh, sorry, Kylie.
What?
Would you mind coming back around 232?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have to take out your 6.8 because I was going to put a wrap in the tether. So go ahead and come back around again.
Raj.
They've melded into one mind.
I need do nothing. I was fine right where I was.
Yeah, it's only a few degrees.
I know, I thought, because normally our wraps oppose each other, like I'm minus whatever and you're plus whatever.
Yeah.
Why is it both minus now? We're both turned the same way?
Yeah.
And it's just nothing I can do about it without making it worse. Sorry, I don't know what happened.
It's another poliopogon.
All good, all good.
Small one. There's a big sponge. Looks unhealthy, to say the least.
Let's see where I'm at here.
So here's a question in the chat. Can geos have a high number of fossils considering they were above sea level?
They can have, no, for the most part, any kind of like, well, they have a lot of microfossils. So the limestone is composed entirely almost of microfossils and shells and coral. So you can make out those structures still within the limestone that caps the geo typically. But as far as like vertebrate fossils, fish fossils, things like that, you're not going to find any. They'll be destroyed during the wave erosion. And it's really not good environments, ocean islands, to preserve fossils regardless. You don't have the rapid soft sedimentation or anoxia, typically, that is needed for good fossil preservation. Is that better? It's about, no, it's touching. Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, here you can see some, we saw for a second how steep the cliff is below us. These are just massive, you know, blocks that have slid downhill. Some of these are in situ flows and pillows, but some of this is mass wasted. It's hard to tell sometimes. When you see those long kind of columnar structures, you know that's at least one single unit you're looking at, kind of right to the right.
As a biologist from the Pacific Northwest, I keep hearing mass wasting and it means something totally different to my brain.
Yeah.
What does it mean for you?
We had a huge outbreak of sea star mass wasting disease, which wiped out most of the sea stars in Puget Sound and surrounding areas over the last few years. They are slowly starting to come back, but it was out there, it was how would be referred to just this huge die-off event in all of the sea stars.
Interesting.
I'll use a different term. Let's see. Slump deposits. That's a beautiful sponge.
Yep, a nice farried.
Yeah, and this is just a massive, it might be a block or a flow front, but at one point at least, it was a massive flow.
I know it's not anything you want to get an ROV anywhere near, or an RV, but watching watching lava flows underwater is quite spectacular.
Yeah.
We're all living in Hercules now.
Where can one observe underwater
I'm just going to go
lava
ahead and put
flows?
into constant move. It seems like we're pretty flat, yeah.
Not very flat,
I mean,
the
there's
answer.
a lot of
So not very
former, there's an old
I mean,
video from an island.
Yeah, but, okay. Okay. Bridge nav, 300 meters, 230.
Yeah, there isn't a lot of really high quality lava flow eruption videos. There's some older ones that I've seen. It's from, I want to say it's somewhere around Micronesia. I can't remember for sure. Then there's some explosive volcanism in that area as well that you can see, which is pretty cool. That was on a NOAA cruise from 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I don't remember exactly when. I have to look up that data.
Yeah, I feel like the older footage is the same footage that gets used in pretty much every like underwater volcano documentary.
Yeah, it's kind of orange flashing.
Yeah.
So here's a question in the chat. Are we heading up a steep section on the cliff going south?
We are going west, but yeah, up a pretty steep ridge. So we're going more along the lip of it at this point, more likely, but there's still, I mean, there's a lot of just localized, really steep features around here, so it's hard to tell.
To point to.
Got a metallogorgia straight ahead.
Did we end up getting that sample that you wanted, or was it exclusive to that dive site that you wanted it?
We did not end up getting it, but I'm keeping an eye. We just stopped seeing the morphology we were looking for, so I'm keeping an eye out on this dive site. We're at about the same depths that we were seeing it yesterday, so if we see one today, we will grab it.
Okay, roger.
Tim, you want to push it on Atalanta view there?
When I said you, I meant like the collective science. Oh, look, an orbit. A little unicorn.
A little feather in its cap.
Chris, how is Norbit today?
Norbit's just chilling. I don't have it on right now. I have the...
I don't know if that's true.
Well, I mean, it's
on.
It might be on, but it's not... It's not
active.
started. I can turn it on.
Cool shot.
Yeah, man. I map everything. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. If you got it, flaunt it.
right.
We don't have a feather in our cap for nothing here.
Fire up the old Norbit. I mean, the brand new state-of-the-art, pushing the boundaries of science, technology Norbit.
All spoken like the people who aren't going to have to process the data later.
Just hit go, man.
Oh no, it's good because I got one of the new. Chris volunteered. My advisor volunteered one of the new master students. So I don't mind how much data we collect.
Oh, there you go. In that case, all Norbit all the time.
Hey Phil, if you're watching, congratulations.
This is how decisions about your life are made.
Yeah.
Right. Kimmy of 8 people in here. Yeah. Okay.
All in the name of science.
All right. Norbit is norbitizing.
I'll take like a pull out on Atalanta, like half.
Halfway on
Yeah,
Atalanta.
or even like that's better. I can try to keep it in the frame.
Or a full out actually would be nice for a second here. Sorry.
Full wide on Atalanta.
Just go as slow as sonar.
Full wide.
What's better than half full? Sorry, guys.
More is more.
Dead sponge with a big old star on it.
That
is a cool one.
Brilliant.
Some good corals down below on this rock as well.
Go ahead and push on in there a bit,
And I've got you set up on the still cam as well.
Oh, Raj, I'll do that afterwards.
Nice.
Got some more zoom?
It's got lots of zoom.
Roger. Look at those knobby arms.
Those shoulders, it looks jacked.
You want to come a little wide and we'll frame them up?
A little wide.
It's cool.
I think these are Brisingid stars.
Brisingid.
Yeah.
Is there also a crinoid? Is that huge thing really a star?
That's really a star, but it's an ancient lineage that's kind of halfway between traditional sea stars or brittle stars and crinoids.
Wide.
So cool.
And I'll frame it up in the still cam and then go.
Brisingid. So would this sea star detach and then swim, or?
These ones I think swim a little less than the crinoids, but they do move around.
All right, coming up. Oh, yes, coming up.
Someone's wondering in the chat if you saw the different colored rocks before our shift started.
No, Rob told me about them, so I'm keeping an eye out if we see it. Sometimes when you have big sector collapses, you're going to expose interior rocks, so you may get some slightly different lithologies, or you may even get serpentine and surfaces where you had hot interior rocks interact with water. But that's all speculative because I didn't see it. So if we go up another cliff, maybe we'll see it again.
So for the layperson, what's a serpentine?
So that is like a very smooth green kind of alteration. So if you take a rock that has a basalt-like composition, and you mix it with hot water, all of the olivines and pyroxenes will turn into something called serpentine.
Is that like a soapstone?
Yes,
awesome.
Exactly. And so it can make a nice smooth surface to move a fault along.
There's a big outcrop of it where I go in California every year.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, I'll look at the footage later and see what we find.
So Chris can, first of all, for everyone who hasn't been watching the last few watches, what is an orbit? And two, my second question, well, I'll follow up after that.
So Norbit is a type of multi-beam echo sounder, so a multi-beam sonar, which you can kind of think of it as the acoustic analog to a LiDAR, right? So if you imagine like a LiDAR scanner like you see on an autonomous car or something, it's a lot like that.
So that LiDAR sends out light beams and then actually maps on a really fine
it sends
scale.
out an array of light beams and then figures out through time of flight how long it takes to get there and back. The multi-beam does that acoustically. Physics is a little bit different. It's actually, for anybody that's into that stuff, the physics is closer to a phased array radar, but people know what LiDAR is, so. Yeah, it basically allows us to take like a scan of the seafloor and create 3D images. Once you combine it with a precise nav solution, which is most of what I've been doing over the past couple months here.
And I put it up on channel 3 for everyone watching online. And you can see it making a map in, well, what are we seeing?
Yeah, so this is a map of the cliff, apparently, that we're going up. So if you look at it sideways. So if you compare what you see in the, this is one of the things that's actually been kind of neat about you having this in real time. If you look at, it gives you sort of a different perspective on what you see. If you look in the cameras, things tend to look sort of flat and not so steep. But once you see them in 3D, you can see that that's actually a pretty steep slope, maybe 45 degrees. But this is just the map that's being generated in real time. So you can see the blue and red swath there is shows the water column data. So that basically shows everything that this multi-beam can see. From that, it extracts where it thinks the bottom is, where it thinks the seafloor is. And you see those coming in as these yellow points. Those yellow points are color-coded by backscatter intensity. So basically how the brighter they are, the louder the return is, right? So when you're doing things on rocks, everything is going to be more or less consistent. But if you're on a surface where you have mud and rocks and shells and that sort of thing, you can often see differences in the backscatter. And then just behind the yellow bits, that's the online or the real-time map being generated as the data is collected. So these points go in there, and then they go into a terrain model basically. So it just averages all the points over space, right? It divides the area up divides the survey area up into an XY grid and averages the points that fall in each cell and turns that into a mesh, which we can then visualize.
Which looks, objectively just really, really, really cool.
Oh, yeah.
So this pattern that we're moving over right now, it's kind of it's kind of a scalloped pattern. Is that, they're smaller shapes. There's a little bit more of it coming up here. Is that something that Norbit could pick up?
Oh, yeah. So let's see if we zoom in.
Whoa.
Yeah, so you can. So one of the things, the model is kind of coarse, so you can't see. So you can't see the finer shapes necessarily. But if we look in here, you can definitely see a lot of these smaller rocks and things like that.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, the Norbit when you get close is crazy precise. Yeah, there's the model. So you can see how now that the model's updated here, you can see how much coarser that is. And the only reason that it does that is it just saves computing power. And it helps us keep track of the general idea of what the terrain looks like. When we go and make a final product in the end, we'll get something closer to like what we're seeing here.
Wow, that's cool.
Let's see if I can. So yeah, we're not seeing much from it here, but sometimes you can see fun things in the water column. So like a fish swim by, you can see them in the water column data. One of the typical uses is, or one of the things that we've used it for a lot in the past is methane seep detection. So when we have gas bubbles floating up through the water column, you can see like a little stream coming up through the water column data, which is a good way to like find them while you're mapping, and it's a good way to classify the flow and stuff as you map an area.
Chris, would you mind going back to the map real quick?
Yes.
Thank you.
A large dead stalk of a sponge and a mostly living sponge.
It's a farried that is kind of still alive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, as you can see, the diaphragm kind of has this going along that scarp lip pretty much the whole way.
So, Chris, we use the big multi-beam on the bottom of Nautilus to map really wide swaths, and this looks like its applications are for really tight areas. Is this something that we could map a shipwreck really easily with, or?
Yeah, so a shipwreck would be a great example of something that we could map. So that's the kind of scale of thing that we would map with Norbit, right? Whereas if we were to map a shipwreck in this depth with the shipboard multi-beam, the entire ship would fall into 1, 2, or maybe 3 pixels on the entire map. So, in other words, you wouldn't even see it. Whereas here we could resolve things. We could resolve stuff on the deck. We could resolve doorways, ports, all that stuff is all within the capabilities of Norbit. And actually, shipwrecks are one of the things that are kind of an interesting problem from the modeling side. So right now I was explaining how we had like a 2D grid to model the bathymetry. The problem with the 2D grid is you can only have, because you average all the Z values for any given position in X and Y, you can only have one height for any given place. So if you have something like a ship that has overhangs or vertical structures, if I have a vertical wall and I average all of the points in the Z at that point, I just get an average in the middle, which doesn't accurately represent the vertical wall. So I've been doing a lot of work with other types of modeling techniques. So I've actually, right now, for to produce most products for Nautilus and things, I use techniques brought from like LiDAR mapping and from structure from motion. So like a lot of surface stuff and drone sort of stuff. Generally, it's all geared towards smaller scale things, but I've applied it to pretty large area maps and whatever, and it has produced pretty nice results. Other than that, some of my dissertation work and stuff has been working on other ways to model bathymetry and stuff too, and more machine learning-y, more advanced ways that are more aware of things like uncertainty, right? So not only do we know that the Z height is this at this location, but we also can say how confident we are in that measurement. So there's a lot of things to think about.
How can you display that?
Yeah, so that's generally I display it as a color scale. So I display it as like a 90% confidence interval, right? So I can say within 90% confidence, the seafloor is, Z value plus or minus 3 meters, or plus or minus, depending on shipboard, would be like plus or minus 3, 5 meters, whatever. Something like this, it would be a couple centimeters.
Yeah, that's impressive.
The other thing that you can do, it depends on if I've messed around with, for things like navigational maps, or online, like if you have a ASV or something that you want to navigate an area that you've just explored, I actually represent the surface as the average value plus the 90% confidence interval, and that you treat as the seafloor for collision avoidance. You take the most conservative estimate and you navigate that way. So there's a couple ways to do it.
Cool.
You can do cross sections and stuff. Like you see in our dive plans and stuff, we have these like cross-sectional views and whatever. So if you do that, then you can actually draw the error bars on it if you want a little more detailed view.
Neat.
Collision avoidance is the level of detail I'm looking for.
Yeah? There's a thing there, don't hit it?
Exactly.
Yeah. Turns out that's actually a pretty hard problem for AUVs and stuff. It's pretty hard to see what's around you down here and process what's around you.
Which leads to things like I work with an AUV team periodically, and all of their AUVs are named after cats, and so they have an abort of their program called the hairball abort, which gets the vehicle to back up.
Huh. Interesting. Why cats?
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
So they do what they want?
I think it's just they were originally designed at Hui, and so I think they're the seabird AUVs, and I think the original one was called leopard or panther.
Yeah.
And so they've gone through several iterations now. The one that I work with Liz Clark at Northwest Fisheries Science Center periodically is named Popoke, which is Hawaiian for cat, and it's actually usually based out of Hawaii.
So the AUV that my advisor, Chris Roman, worked with was called Jaguar, which was an acronym for just another gosh darn underwater robot.
Yeah, that may be the original.
That might, you think?
I think that's the original.
I wasn't sure if that was the original or if that was a riff on the cat naming scheme.
At ONC, they name the different plugs for different cables after the people's dogs or pets.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And like, oh, plug Sally into junction box A or whatever.
Yeah. Sally's misbehaving.
Yeah, exactly.
Go for a walk, Sally.
Science does like its inside jokes, and unfortunately when they go to tell the joke to somebody on the outside, it gets even more confused.
Right. This one time at sea, and like it's very that.
You also start making random noises and the voices of people that are on the ship. And when you go home, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, yes, that. I do a great impression of the bosun on the Endeavour, but nobody knows him here, so it's useless.
Wait, I think I probably have seen him.
You know Oscar?
Oh my, yes, actually, I do know Oscar.
It's like, well, you know, generally we like to keep things tidy around here.
That's good, that's good. Yeah, I sat next to Oscar for a few meals, and I'm the kind of person where if someone is like a little bit less happy, then it makes me feel a little bit awkward, and then I like start making jokes, which isn't usually a good combination.
Sure, yeah, just look at
but
you.
I made him laugh once.
Oh, that's good.
Not because I meant to, I was just feeling so awkward because I was like way more excited to be there next to him than he was excited to be next to me.
Rod, yeah. That's very accurate.
Like, it should have just kept quiet, but my mind was like, say jokes. Like,
Right.
no.
make this normal, right? And it's like, there's no doing of that.
No.
Yeah, that crew's cool because they, like, it's the same people all the time on that ship. But then, like, you know, science comes on and, like, is, like, fresh and excited, and the crew is just there.
So such a good description of it.
But that's normal, right? That's how all of us would be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Got some columnar features here on this large overturned block. Some really cool looking stuff.
Cool shot. Also, Kevin, let me know if you want just zooms on geology.
Yeah, will do.
I'm sure, yeah, whatever helps for you guys.
So there's a couple questions in the chat about Norbit. Let's see here. So I remember seeing very high resolution sonar images with the blue view multi-beam. Wouldn't that make for a much higher resolution map, or is that Norbit unit better for what you're doing now? Would using the blue view make a better map?
Actually, I believe, so I came in right at the end of the life of the blue view, but I believe the Norbit is actually a little bit better resolution-wise. It's got a little more range, a little wider swath, a little more range resolution. The main thing that and the other main thing that I really appreciate about the Norbit is its sort of reliability and it's fairly easy to interface with, which was one of the reasons we ended up moving away from the blue view. The Norbit is just easy to write software for and collects very clean data, and the resolution is pretty good, and yeah, it just does the thing. Oftentimes...
Can we grab a rock right here? Sorry. Are we in a position or no?
We are not in position.
Okay.
However, we can stop the ship, let it swing, and then grab a rock for oversight.
Yeah, that'd be
Bridge
great.
now,
Really
full position.
Nice
Great.
I'm going to back up a little because we're going to swing for a while otherwise.
Yeah, red.
Bridge nav, 40 meters, 050. But yeah, in terms of the resolution of the final map, often the limiting factor is not the sonar. It's often the navigation solution. So you either need to, or you really need to have some combination of a very precise nav solution and some sort of navigation that's aware of the multi-beam data, in other words. So like it's able to make corrections dynamically with the maps, the areas that it's mapped already. But even after you do that, again, the limiting factor is normally the navigation and not the resolution of the multi-beam.
Here's another question. How does Norbit deal with errors and outliers?
That's a good question. So there's two ways that it can do that. The first is it internally checks for intensity. So if you look at let me pull it up. If you look at the water column data, actually let me pull up the Norbit interface because this has that. Let's see, where's the water column button? There it is. So if you look at the raw water column data, you can see that it has, it shows you can see the areas where it's bright show that there's a strong return there. And you see there's a lot of these green returns in those areas. Those are returns that it's very confident in. The orange points are low signal to noise ratio, which means that there's possibly a detection there, but it's not very bright, so it flags those as outliers. It reports them, but it flags them, but it reports them as outliers. And then the dark red points I believe it flags those outliers by some kind of, by a phase filter. So if the return pulse is out of phase with what you expect, or is not the right part of the, in other words, not the right part of the wave signal, the echo or the transmit signal doesn't match the transmit signal, it will flag those as outliers as well. So that's how the Norbit flags outliers. And for the most part, it generally does a pretty good job. You do occasionally get some, and those we will either manually filter in post-processing, or we have some automated ways to deal with those. But generally, the cleanup afterwards is very slight.
Another question. Can you actually then take that data and input photogrammetry from the video and overlay the footage to get a picture of the bottom overlaid onto that map?
I can. That's actually something that we did.
Cascadia margin?
No, that was ONC.
Yes, that too. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, we didn't do. We did Cascadia margin. We did a lot of Norbit mapping.
But didn't we do some
We
photogrammetry?
did photogrammetry, but we didn't overlay it with the Norbit.
Oh, I see. Okay. Gotcha.
So we often do photogrammetry with the main camera on Hercules. We have a system, like a dedicated camera system for that, but it's not always installed. So if you see something that you wanna do photogrammetry on, we often use the main camera. The problem is the main camera is not calibrated, so it doesn't give you, it gives you a model, but it doesn't give you any sense of scale or size or orientation or location on the Earth. So but it does give, the model is self-consistent, right? But it's not any of those other things, which you need if you want to take precise measurements off of it.
Yeah, sure thing.
So one of the things that I do sometimes is we make a map with the Norbit, and then I use some point cloud processing software to align the photogrammetry data with the Norbit data. The Norbit data gives us scale and is very good at scale and dimensionality, things like that, but it is not quite as precise as the photogrammetry data. So when you overlay the two, you get the scale accuracy of the Norbit and the orientation and all that, but you get the precision of the photogrammetry data. So we did that to align, to place continental drift sensors last year. So at ONC, they had like a 20-year running experiment, and the old sensor ran out of batteries, and they needed to place a new one. And in order to have continuity in their data set, they needed to know the location of the new one to within 5 centimeters relative to the location of the old one. So that's why we ended up using that method. That was the only way we had available to make it something precise enough.
We're just about settled, or we're still settling, but does this still look like the same rock types that you want around in this area?
These ones aren't as nice as the other ones, but let's see. The other ones were really blocky, like came off a columnar column. You can kind of see some of the structures still in them.
Yeah. Raj. Okay. So do you want us to continue to settle out, or do you want to keep moving, and then if we see another one?
Yeah, I think we'll just keep moving, yeah.
Roger.
Because there's kind of, a small little deposit, so I haven't seen it again.
Okay. Sure thing. Yeah, maybe I'll stay as far stretched out, and then we'll do a quick grab and go, and we'll just move a little bit slower.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Bridge nav. Let's do 200 meters, 230.
Looks like there's a really large sponge, or a tall sponge in the distance.
I think it's actually just the stalk. I don't think there's a top on it.
Huh. It's a thick stalk?
Yep, no problem.
Nice little hemicorallium down there.
Bridge, can we make that a 50 meter move? Two, 3-0. Yeah.
Photogrammetry is that technique where you photograph an object from a bunch of different angles and then stitch it all together?
Yep, that's correct.
Like a mosaic?
Not exactly, no.
What's the difference?
So a mosaic is generally, or it generally tries to be like an orthographic projection. In other words, it tries to be top-down and two-dimensional.
Okay.
Photogrammetry is a three-dimensional process. So if you can, it's basically a set of triangulation. So if I have two camera poses, cameras are basically angle sensors, right? That's one way to think of them. They don't detect range, right? But if I know two angles and I know I'm looking at the same point, I can do a little bit of trigonometry and figure out where that point is, right?
Yeah.